all, and a very warm welcome. You're watching Newshour Agenda with me, Priya Bahal. The story that we are getting to you now first started. The script of it was written yesterday between 12 to 1 p.m. It has been almost 34 hours since Atiq Ahmed's son Asad was shot down in Jhansi. As we speak, preparations are being made to take his body to Prayagraj, where the last rites will be conducted. Remember, the body has been in a mortuary, then a postmortem was conducted, then the members were missing for most of the time. Nobody came to claim the body. Only today evening at around 6 o'clock, there was a distant uncle and two lawyers who had come to claim the body of Asad. A grave has been dug for him to be buried near his grandparents' graves. But the man, his father, who earlier said mitti mein mil gaye hain, today once again showed defiance, almost issuing a warning to the cops who were a part of the encounter team, saying he will show them once released what is the meaning of Gaddi, basically hinting at power, the power that he has unabashedly enjoyed for over 4 decades, as party after party provided him political patronage, gave him tickets to contest, gave him MLA tickets, gave him tickets to become an MP even after he had murder cases against him. Today, the very same parties who either gave him a ticket or promised to give him a ticket are coming out to allege and assign motives to the encounter of his son Asad. Yesterday, it was Akhilesh Yadav and Asaduddin Owaisi who said that it was because of their religion that they were being targeted. Today, they came up with a new motive, which was elections. Remember, local body polls are due. The voting is to take place on the 10th of May in Uttar Pradesh, and today Akhilesh Yadav says that whenever there are elections, BJP carries out encounters, a message that was also then echoed by Asaduddin Owaisi, who said that if you want to destroy the mafia, then do so jail mein dal ke. Mitti mein milana hai, to jail mein dalo. Who is stopping you? This is all probably taking place because of upcoming local body elections. Are these insinuations correct? Is it because of elections that the encounter of Asad has taken place? Into the reaction first, and then we'll be joined by our guests to decode that.
पहले दिन से भारतीय जनता पार्टी चुनाव को देखते हुए इनकाउंटर कर रही है, और एक उदाहरण नहीं है। मैं तो बीजेपी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि जिस बुलडोजर ने, जिन अधिकारियों ने, प्रशासन ने एक ब्राह्मण मां और बेटी के ऊपर बुलडोजर चला दिया, आग लगा दी, उनका क्यों नहीं मिट्टी में मिला दिया? बलिया में एक नौजवान छात्र नेता जो चुनाव लड़ना चाहता था, उसको मुख्यमंत्री जी के स्वजाती लोगों ने मार मार करके जान ले ली। क्या आज का भारत ये है?
आप मिट्टी में मिलाना चाह रहे तो भाई जेल में डाल के मिट्टी में मिलाओ ना उनको। कौन रोक रहा है आपको? जब इतना सॉलिड एविडेंस आपके पास है, आप मिलाइए उनको। अब फिर लोकल बॉडी के इलेक्शंस आ रहे हैं, अब है 10 मई को पोलिंग है, 2 चरण में।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the broadcast is Karan Verma, who's an author, Kapi Srivastava of the Samajwadi Party, Kamru Choudhury of the Congress is also on the broadcast, Vikram Singh, former UP DGP, as is going to be Anila Singh, who will be joining us in a short while from now. But my first question is to you, Kapi Srivastava ji. Kal Akhilesh Yadav ji came out to say that भाईचारा खराब कर रहे हैं encounter करके. आज उनको याद आ गया कि इलेक्शन भी आने वाले हैं, so now he's saying कि ये सब इलेक्शन की वजह से हो रहा है. इसके क्या तथ्य हैं जिसको बैक करने के लिए that makes you think that this is because of the upcoming elections?
देखिए, भाईचारा खराब करने का मतलब ही सीधा सा है कि ये अक़लियत के लोगों को जिस एंगल से देखते हैं, क्या किसी से छिपा हुआ है क्या? सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास की बात करने वाली भारतीय जनता पार्टी जिस तरीके से अल्पसंख्यक वर्ग को एक निगाह से देखे, और इनके जो हायर क्लास के लीडर्स हैं,
If you could just help us understand.
अरे सुनिए ना, बता तो रहा हूं। एक पेट्रियाटिक सर्जन को एंटी नेशनल बता दिया जाता है, देश तोड़ने वाला बता दिया जाता है, और उसको भेज दिया जाता है जेल। नाम है डॉक्टर कफील खान। अरे नहीं, सुन तो लें।
अरे सर, हम बिल्कुल सुनना चाहते हैं, आप जो बोलना चाहते हैं हम बिल्कुल सुनना चाहते हैं, इसीलिए शुरुआत ही आपसे की गई है, लेकिन आप काम की बात तो कीजिए। आपसे सवाल सीधा सा ये है कि किस बूते पर अखिलेश यादव कह रहे हैं कि जब भी इलेक्शंस होते हैं स्टेट में तो एनकाउंटर कराती है बीजेपी की सरकार पहले दिन से?
ये आपको दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है क्या?
नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है सर, आप दिखाइए ना।
ये जो सारी साजिश है ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की है, ये पॉलिटिकल मोटिवेटेड है, क्यों नहीं है? आप बताइए कि इनके क्या उत्तर प्रदेश में जंगल राज नहीं है? इतनी बड़ी कॉन्स्पिरेंसी हो रही है,
आप गोल-मोल बातें कर रहे हैं सर। मैंने सीधा सा सवाल पूछा, आप अखिलेश यादव जी did not mince any words when he said that since day one, every single time there are elections, BJP conducts encounters. Which election, which encounter, when did it happen, who was encountered? Can you answer any of those 4 questions?
मैं बहुत सीधी बात आपको कह रहा हूं कि अतीक अहमद इनके एजेंडे का एक नतीजा है, जो कॉन्स्पिरेंसी इनके द्वारा खुद की गई है। और आप सामने देखिए ना कि दोनों जगह, जहां पर अतीक था और जहां पर इनके भाई बरेली के अंदर, ये दोनों जेलें उत्तर प्रदेश और गुजरात में हैं, जो कि जहां इनकी सरकारें हैं। ये अगर टोटल फेल्योर ना होती तो क्या ये घटनाएं हो रही होती? और मैं ये पूछ रहा हूं कि किसने ये कहा संवैधानिक पद पर बैठ करके विधानसभा में कि मिट्टी में मिला देंगे? 4 को आपने मिट्टी में मिला के असल को बताने की कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं और आप पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या? अरे सबसे बड़ी बात तो मैं यही पूछ रहा हूं कि इलेक्शन आपके करीब आ गए, इसकी बात कौन करता है? योगी आदित्यनाथ करते हैं। ये तो हनुमान जी की जाति बनाने में माहिर और आगे हैं। ये शमशान कब्रिस्तान करने वाले लोग, अभी आपने देखा अखिल भारतीय जो हिंदू महासभा है,
कल अखिलेश यादव जी का जो बयान आया था, आप जो 80-20 की बात कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने 50 सेकंड की मुश्किल से बाइट दी होगी, उसमें उन्होंने स्वजाति, यादव जाति, पिछड़ा जाति, हर एक एनकाउंटर की डिटेल्स उन्होंने, क्रिमिनल और नॉन क्रिमिनल और इनोसेंट की उनका क्राइटेरिया नहीं था, उनका क्राइटेरिया था जातिवाद। तो आप 80-20 की बात तो छोड़ ही दें। बट करण वर्मा, कमिंग टू यू ऑन द एलिगेशन दैट इज बीइंग लेवल्ड बाय कपिल श्रीवास्तव कि ये तो ट्रेंड है, इसलिए ये भी गलत ही होगा।
I think it is very, very distasteful and irresponsible of him to say this. But then what do you expect from him when Akhilesh Yadav barely had the encounter happened and he said that this is a fake encounter and भाजपा भाईचारे के खिलाफ है? कौन सा भाईचारा है ये? वो वाला भाईचारा जब इनके अतीक अहमद के कुत्ते से आपके सर्वोच्च नेता मुलायम सिंह हाथ मिलाते थे मंच पे, वो था आपका भाईचारा। When you had to give him a ticket for MLA and MP, this was your भाईचारा. Years together, Priya, there was a time when judges used to fear this man. They would not hear the cases against this man because such was his reign of terror. Today that has reversed. Today we see fear in the eyes of Atiq and his associates. Now can I please speak? Now, Priya, you have to moderate him, please. Now, today the fortunes have changed, and I would suggest this: the UP police should file a defamation case.
Mr. Kapil Srivastava,
like Akhilesh Yadav.
Let him speak. You got uninterrupted time. Let him speak. Trust me, we'll come back to you.
Make my point.
Mr. Srivastava, let him speak. Let's have a civil debate. Let me also understand what your point of view is. If you will talk over him, nobody will be able to hear you. Please. Yes, Mr. Karan Verma, finish your point, please.
No, because he doesn't have any sensible thing to say, so he'll keep rambling. Sandeep Nishad and Raghavendra Singh, 2 brave officers who died in the line of duty. What does this man want? What does Akhilesh Yadav want? Does he want our officers to die? As per CRPC section 46, subsection 2, policemen are within their right to go and during a raid, if they are encountering violence, they are supposed to fire back. This is the new India. This India works within the ambit of law, but is not going to be handcuffed by those political masters who used to patronize these gangsters like Atiq. So the message, Priya, is loud and clear. Today, law and order has to reign supreme in Uttar Pradesh, whether he likes it or not. He can see it from the prism of religion. And by the way, even if he talks about religion, 47 out of the 125 encounters happen to be Muslims. Rest all happen to be Hindus. So there is no Hindu-Muslim angle to it. 44 rounds were exchanged during that. These criminals who were shot dead later on, they had pistols, advanced weapons in their possession. They had fired first. So what point does he have, and I want the UP police.
I think it is less about this encounter and more about political encounter. Kamru Choudhury, this same tone was also adopted by Asaduddin Owaisi. He is also saying कि हो सकता है कि इलेक्शन आ रहे होंगे इसलिए ये हो गया. कल आपकी रिलीजन वाली बात थी. That point was countered that most of the victims of Atiq Ahmed happened to be Muslims. We played out testimonies after testimonies where people said that those who are trying to say that the target is they are trying to give a communal color to this must listen to us. We have lived the trauma where Atiq and his men used to come to our house, threaten us. He has made lives hell even for the Muslims. So religion angle वहाँ चला गया. तो आज आपने का नया शिगुफा आया है ऑपोजिशन का कि क्योंकि इलेक्शंस आने वाले हैं इसलिए एनकाउंटर हो गया है. डू यू हैव एनी डेटा दैट कुड सब्सटैंशिएट दैट एलिगेशन?
Now, Priya, first and foremost, let me tell you, I am not a spokesperson of Asaduddin Owaisi Sahab out here. I speak for myself and my fellow countrymen who share my ideology and my thought process. First and foremost, today when we are discussing this entire encounter issue, the ghost of the Pulwama is again out in the open by the statements of ex-governor Satyapal Malik. But anyhow, then let us put that for another day. Now, today, the first point out here, out of the panelists out here, I don't know how many of you have even contested any election. I have contested an election. And I know it's very honest to be a devil's advocate out here today in your show. The result of the nexus between the politicians and the gunda or the mafia results in a gunda like Atiq Ahmed taking birth and dictating terms and conditions to our polity. So there is a big difference between the two. Now the point of question or debate that we all should indulge in today after this encounter is, can we pursue our democracy to proceed on the lines of patronage of the gundas by the politicians? Yes or no? That's not a question to be asked. Its obvious question is no, but then how? Because you see, today Asaduddin Owaisi's comment or earlier you see the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister comment or the gleeful comments by a part of the ecosystem out here projects to one particular thing, you know.
Sir,
this is all about competitive identity politics.
Do you think that Asad was a criminal?
Has been on the run. Let me finish. Of course he was. He was caught on camera shooting at a person, unarmed person. You can't be calling him a saint.
But
he
sir,
is a criminal.
Party colleague of yours, Irfan Ansari, has come out to say पढ़ने वाला लड़का था बेचारा उसको मार दिया. The man who you also have seen on CCTV cameras pulling a gun not only at Umesh Pal but also his gunners shooting.
No.
Your colleague says बेचारा पढ़ने वाला लड़का था.
Priya, let me tell you, my party's stand is very clear in this. There should not be any leniency towards the criminals. But there is an established procedure in law. Our ex-policemen out here in this panel will agree. You have to go through this. If there was an encounter that clearly indicates very badly on the part of the administration of the state because it was unable to catch the culprit for the last 48 days and they had to shoot him down. So we are not a banana republic that every criminal needs to be shot down like Vinay Dubey. But the point that I wanted to raise out here is not that the criminal being shot on the broad daylight. The broad daylight, the main thing that is out here and that has come out of the Asad shooting or the encounter is the gleefulness at which some of the people have been projecting this as a Bahubali nature of the Yogi government. Now the question arises out here that is the Gujarat model fading away and the Yogi model coming into the public perspective? We need to debate on that because ultimately it's the elections that will decide the fate of any government out here. Now if I say competitive identity politics, one side the Yogi government and his ecosystem is trying to project it as a victory of Satya over evil. Now, do you think that same ecosystem were handing out laddus to the rapists who were convicted of Bilkis Banu in Gujarat?
Okay, so that's a larger debate. You also know we've done it multiple number of times and you know our stand very well on that matter also, Kamru Choudhury. You come on our debates very often to ignore that fact. Where does Times Now stand on that matter? But I'm now joined by Sharad Trivedi of the BJP. Let's also give him an opportunity to respond. Mr. Trivedi, the biggest allegation against you today, and I don't want to focus on what has happened yesterday because yesterday everybody kept saying it's extrajudicial, it's religion, but those debates have been till death. Today, the same leaders from the same parties who have at some point or the other offered to give tickets or given tickets to Atiq Ahmed and his family came out to say that this encounter has been timed to the local body elections. That is why you have done it. Is that so?
That appears to be the toolkit of Samajwadi Party. They have got the standard operating procedures. Whenever something like this happens, then they go into an overdrive that the person was innocent. This was an election stunt, like when Mr. Atiq Ahmad was being brought from Sabarmati jail. The first comment of Mr. Yadav was that he was being brought to help in elections. The next day when this encounter took place, the entire statement changed. He said that now this encounter has happened because we want to get benefit in the election. So what do they want? This is the, for Mr. My friend from Congress has been saying that they are opposed to all this. But ask him one thing that Mr. Digvijay Singh said Osama bin Laden ji, and today Mr. P.L. Punia, who was the former secretary UP government, he says Atiq ji. So this is a standard toolkit. The problem is not with the encounter. The problem is with the religion of the person who has died. It has nothing to do with the encounter. When there are two people who were encountered the first time, that was one. The first one was Vijay Choudhury. He was shot dead within 24 hours. There was no problem. They said it was a fake encounter, but that was about it. But when Arbaz was killed within 7 days, that became a fake encounter and anti-Muslim pogrom. Has anybody in any program in India ever said that the encounters in Maoist movement, that is the anti-Hindu? Because not a single Maoist is a Muslim. So has anybody said that that was an anti-Hindu program? Here, we can also say the same thing. We can come out with the same toolkit, that it was the Muslims attacking Hindus. Like Mr. Umesh Pal was a Hindu. The person in whose case he was a witness was a Hindu, and those who shot, they were all Muslims. This is absurd. It has nothing to do with Hindus and Muslims. It has got to do with getting these thugs out of UP. We gave them 45 days. They had 45 days.
And data seems to be bearing that out. Here I have with me a list of all 183 odd encounters that have taken place since 2017, which is when Yogi government came into power. And I will play out those numbers on our screens for our viewers because I don't want to read that whole list, but this busts a lot of the myths that are being propagated. It is not true that people were being targeted on the basis of that religion, of their religion. But on the matter of whether or not these encounters are fake, I would like to bring in Vikram Singh, a former UP DGP. Sir, we know that of the magisterial inquiries that have been conducted into the encounters, 74 cases, UP police has been given a clean chit. There has been a closure report that has been filed in 60 odd cases as well. To help us understand what is the process when an encounter takes place, how does one know whether it is fake or was it genuine? How does the law proceed?
Wonderful question, Priya. And there are standard operating procedures under the guidelines given by the Honorable Supreme Court and the UP police regulations. A magisterial inquiry is a compulsion and is ordered by the district magistrate after information received of an encounter, in which the magistrate conducts an inquiry. Advertisements are given in all the leading newspapers and also the electronic media that those who have any knowledge of the encounter are welcome to come and depose before the magistrate and produce that evidence, number one. And the magistrate gives the inquiry on the basis of site visits, statements of the witnesses, and also of the firing police party and those of the family who choose to depose before the magistrate. Then there is also the question of filing a report before the National Human Rights Commission also. There's an investigation, and if there is a complaint, which I'm sure there are very many, then the investigation is conducted by a different police station and not from the parent police station. Therefore, to say that it is easy to get away from a fake encounter, no. There have been many cases where policemen are still in jail, and at least I know of 5 cases where policemen are still in jail after the CID inquiry because they were involved in fake encounters.
So we'll take it point by point. Kapish Srivastav, Mr. Vikram Singh has just told us that if anybody has an objection, if anybody has a doubt about the authenticity of an encounter, they can go and file a complaint with evidence. Akhilesh Yadav yesterday, within hours of the encounter happening, said that it is fake. Is your party going to file any such complaint? Have you gone to the NHRC?
देखिए, सबसे पहली बात तो हम ये बता दें कि हमारी पार्टी आगे क्या करेगी ये हम अभी क्यों आपको बताएं, लेकिन इतना निश्चित हम कहेंगे कि जस्टिस होने के लिए हमारी पार्टी जाएगी आगे। दूसरी चीज आपको मैं एक बात कह दूं कि जो अभी सिंह साहब बता रहे थे, उसमें जो मजिस्ट्रियल जांच होती है, जो जिला अधिकारी के या सब डिविजनल मजिस्ट्रेट करते हैं, उनकी जांच तो हमेशा प्रेशराइज होती है, लेकिन ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन में मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर आपको आंकड़े बता दे रहा हूं, पूरे देश में 28 ऐसे ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन ने जांच की थी, जिसमें 17 फेक एनकाउंटर उत्तर प्रदेश के साबित हुए और 28 करोड़ रुपए की क्षति लगाई गई। एक संवैधानिक पद पर बैठे हुए
जो उत्तर प्रदेश में फेक एनकाउंटर साबित हुए थे सर, ये किसके राज था स्टेट में जब ये हुए थे?
ये योगी राज में।
अच्छा, कौन से साल में सर?
कौन से साल? इन 6 वर्षों में। आप उसे सर्च कर लें, आपको मिल जाए।
Okay.
दूसरी
Mr. Sharad Trivedi,
कह दूं,
there have been fake encounters under Yogi Adityanath as well.
In not a single case, the final verdict has come. The matters are still in appeal. Not a single case the matter has been approved by the Supreme Court. Not a single case the finality has not happened. These matters are still pending investigation. The appeals have been filed against that.
पुलिस का अपराधीकरण योगी शासन कर रहा है, इसमें कौन सी बड़ी चीज है? क्या पूरे देश के अंदर सबसे ज्यादा पुलिस अभिरक्षा में मृत्यु उत्तर प्रदेश में हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है? आप अपने एनसीआरबी के डाटे उठा लें और खुद देख लें अपना चेहरा कितना विषाक्त हो चुका है। आप मुठभेड़ करें, कोई मनाही नहीं है, बचाव के पक्ष में न करते हैं, लेकिन मैं एक बात कह रहा हूं कि जिनके ये इतिहास सामने काला खड़ा हो, एनसीआरबी के आंकड़े हो कि ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन अपनी जगह पर है, ये एनसीआरबी के आंकड़े आपके हैं कि पुलिस अभिरक्षा में सबसे ज्यादा मृत्यु उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर हुई है। ये आप पे बहुत बड़ा प्रश्न चिन्ह खड़ा करते हैं। क्या आप पुलिस प्रशासन का मिसयूज नहीं कर रहे? क्या आप कानून की धज्जियां नहीं उड़ा रहे?
It would help not only your case but the case of justice if you could come up with some evidence instead of just making statements that are not backed by evidence. In this case, the only piece of evidence on record that we have right now is what the police has stated and the postmortem report. Let's first listen in to the doctor who conducted the postmortem of Asad yesterday, and then I will tell you why what he said was important.
When they came here, they were not alive. There were no sign of any life. But we tried to, we did CPR and tried my best. But later on, within 15 to 20 minutes of arrival, we declared them dead.
Was there any rigor mortis?
No, rigor mortis was not there when I saw him, saw them. No other mark of injury except bullet injury.
Only bullet injury?
Only bullet injury.
So the inference from that, and I'm not an encounter expert, I have spoken to some who have told me the inference of that is that generally when somebody is captured before and then a fake encounter is conducted, there are injury marks because logically that person would try to retaliate, and because in this case there were only clear bullet injury marks that were seen, there was no injury either to the hands or the wrist or anywhere else, which is why chances are high that this is a genuine encounter. Now, Mr. Singh, if you could just tell us more about what are the signs that could probably help the opposition establish in case this was a fake encounter.
I'm so happy that you put this question. There are two important aspects if it's a fake encounter. Obviously, I won't shoot him with a telescopic rifle or from a distance of half a kilometer. I would catch him, put 5 bullets inside his head, and that would give him scorching and singeing burn marks on the body, because the proximity of the barrel to the head or the body part would burn those body parts, and therefore scorching and singeing are the surest as test that the person has died in cold blood after being caught and then the bullets were pumped into him. And yes, there are telltale signs in respect of whether there were injuries, anti-mortem injuries on the body, not a single anti-mortem injury on the body. That also indicates the fact that there was no brutalization of the person and the encounter was legitimate in the exchange of fire, as they say in the standard parlance, हंगामाए गिरफ्तारी में मुनासिब गोलीबारी के बाद अपनी और दूसरों की जान बचाने की नियत से गोली चलाई गई और उसमें बदमाशान मारे गए.
Okay. Kamru Choudhury, I want to once again.
मैं सिंह साहब से कुछ पूछना चाहता हूँ.
जी कपिश जी बिल्कुल.
सिंह साहब मुझे एक बात बताइएगा, जितने एनकाउंटर्स होते हैं शायद आपने तो सबसे ज्यादा देखे होंगे उनके FIR. कामाबाई फुल स्टॉप एक ही क्यों होती? दूसरी चीज मैं आपको पूछ रहा हूं, 2 व्यक्ति पुरानी एक घिसी पिटी मोटरसाइकिल से जा रहे हैं जिसमें कि एक जो माफिया है उसके पास आधुनिक किस्म का कोई मोबाइल भी नहीं, जो चप्पल पहना हुआ है, 56 राउंड की फायरिंग चल रही है और कोई भी बुलेट गाड़ी पे नहीं लगी, ना उसको पंचर की, कहीं अन्य जगहों से बरामदगी किसी पेड़ से नहीं है, कहीं भागने का कोई स्थान नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है. एक टीम पुलिस की रिटेलेट कर रही है फ्रंट से, जो आपकी कहानी है. एंटी मार्टम इंजरी मेरे पास नहीं है. मैं भी एक एडवोकेट हूं और मैं क्राइम केसेस ही देखता हूं, इसलिए मैं फोरेंसिक को भी समझ सकता. एंटी मार्टम अगर आप भेज दीजिए तो मैं आपको दिखाता हूं कि कहां कहां क्या क्या कमी है. लेकिन मैं एक चीज को निश्चित कहता हूं कि देखिए, विधि का शासन ये नहीं कहता है एनकाउंटर नाम की जुडिशरी में कोई चीज नहीं होती है, बल्कि बचाव नाम की चीज होती है. बचाव नाम की चीज होती है. सेक्शन 80 उसको
we'll all be wiser for when we get the answer to this. Yes, Mr. Singh.
बड़े विद्वान है, आपसे तो हम लोग सीखते हैं कपीश जी. मैं आपसे बता रहा क्या, धारा 96 से लेके धारा 106 IPC राइट ऑफ प्राइवेट डिफेंस में, जिसके अंतर्गत मैं या आप किसी के बचाव के लिए और मिनिमम यूज ऑफ फोर्स जी और CRPC के अंतर्गत. कपीश जी, अगर मेरे इजाजत में कानूनी पहलू आपको बता दूं, और CRPC में यह भी प्राविधान है कि हत्या का आरोपी अगर है तो बल प्रयोग हो सकता है, और दोनों के बल प्रयोग के केस में अगर पुलिस करे, अगर आप कर सकते हैं, मैं कर सकता हूं, तो पुलिस क्यों नहीं कर सकती है? तो पुलिस क्या है कि ये पाकिस्तान और चीन
और कपिश जी, आप जो पुराने फोन की बात कर रहे हैं, उनके पास हथियार तो बहुत आधुनिक थे. फोन का तो उन्होंने क्या ही इस्तेमाल करना था, नहीं करना था, वो तो वही जानेंगे. पर अगर उनके पास इम्पोर्टेड वेपन्स हैं तो शक तो करना बनता ही है. बट कमिंग इंक्लूडिंग Kamru Choudhury once again, and again I will come back to the poll question, because everybody kept saying that, you know, it is religion that is being targeted, it is because of elections that this issue is being raised. Just a few days ago, there was an absconding criminal, Aditya Rana, who had a bounty of 2.5 lakh rupees on his head. He was shot dead in an encounter. 12th of April 2023. I didn't hear any reaction coming from any opposition party saying कि ये encounter election की वजह से हो रहा है. Did anyone from our panel hear any outrage? Or Mr. Kamru Choudhury?
A wonderful question. You know, do you have the statistics of how many encounters? Yeah, I was just questioning you. Do you have any statistics of how many encounters have taken place over the last 6 years across India?
Actually, I do.
Have, you can cross-check it.
I do.
10,000 encounters.
I do.
10,000 encounters.
Yes.
I'm telling you. Let's get to the point. 10,000 encounters have happened in India over the last 6 years. Over the last 6 years, and one encounter killing was registered once in every 3 days in India. How many cases have got to the Times Now studios till date? No, none of them.
Sir, you're
except for
proving my
one or
point.
two. Maybe Vikas Dubey case or Atiq Ahmed son's case. Yeah, that's what I'm coming to. Now, why did... Yes, now why does the Atiq Ahmed son's case reach the headlines? That's a very important question that you have raised. When Atiq Ahmed was being brought from Sabarmati to Uttar Pradesh, there was the headlines was being created. Your cameraman was trailing that the vehicle convoy that was carrying Atiq Ahmed all the way to Uttar Pradesh. Then immediately his brother surrendered. Then immediately Atiq Ahmed's son was encountered after 48 days.
Sir, I have just 120 seconds left. If I could just request you to hurry up and make your point.
Now, why doesn't the why doesn't the police or the administration have any capacity to arrest Amrit Pal, have arrest
Sir,
and the most surprising thing
अब बोलेंगे नीरव मोदी पे चले जाएंगे अब
in the chart sheet they have mentioned.
Sir, you said, do I have any data of encounters? And I have the data of encounters at least under Yogi since 2017, and this data is not in your favor. Whether it comes to the number of Muslims who were encounters, it is approximately around 47% of the total number of encounters. Whether it is the fact that poll years, when you talk about poll years in which encounters have taken place, 2019 and 2022 is when elections took place. So when Akhilesh and Asaduddin Owaisi say that encounters take place before elections, that should mean that in 2019 and 2022 there should be maximum encounters. In 2019 there are some 34 encounters as opposed to 2017 when there were 28, 2018 there were around 41. Then comes 2019 where there are just 34 encounters, and in 2022 when Yogi made a historic comeback there was only one encounter. 14 encounters actually. And if you talk about Muslims being targeted, of the 14 encounters in 2022, there is just one, Kamal Hassan Urf Neta Rashid Putra Zafar Rashid, who was encountered. You want me to list out the names of the other people? Then you can probably do a caste breakdown and say who was benefiting from what. But I don't have to do that because Vikas Dubey is already an example that it is not about caste. So what was your point in asking me whether I have the data or not?
Yeah, the basic point is that, you know, the Gujarat model of Narendra Modi ji is on the wane, is coming to the back seat.
अब सर अब आप जा बात करेंगे क्या गुजरात मॉडल, क्या योगी मॉडल, आप मुझे बताइए ना. आप मुझे गुजरात का डेटा दीजिए.
Model has to be coming to the world, to the imagination of the Bhakt Mandali. Now the Yogi model has to come to the imagination of the Bhakt Mandali.
अब सर आप यही imagination लेके फिर आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट पहुंच जाते हैं, फिर then the court says कि please come to us with facts.
So the Gujarat model is being replaced by the Yogi model in the national scale. That is the actual fact.
Right. Now this debate is going on between Yogi model and Gujarat model, but we really don't know what those models are. We don't know what parameters define those models. We don't know any specifics, but the numbers that we have, the breakdown that we have, the statistics that we have, the facts that we have do not support the argument that has been put forth by the opposition. As Mr. Singh told us, there are processes. If anybody has an objection, they can go to the court, they can go to the NHRC, as has been the case in Mulayam Singh's rule itself. Under Mulayam Singh, there was an encounter, there was proven to be fake. 18 policemen were punished for that fake encounter. There was another one which took place under Mayawati, again was fake. NHRC had submitted a report in that case. If the opposition today has any evidence, they should produce it and then gun for the BJP, not indulge in generic slogans like this is because of election or religion. Thank you all the gentlemen for joining me. We need to move on to the second debate on Newshour Agenda.